Hey Hearties, I'm Casey.
And I'm Cammie. Welcome to the Hearties Hotline,
your connection to Hope Valley.
We want to give a shout out to our friends at Edify Films, where you can get fabulous When Calls the Heart merchandise, like my hat.
And you can also get a fun When Calls the Heart game from our friends at the Bundle Game. Be sure to use discount code Hearties Hotline for 10% off.
We've got a fabulous episode for you today, full of laughter, tears, and heart.
So take a walk with us to Hope Valley and let's dive in.
Welcome back, Hearties. Okay, so I can safely say that I was kind of dragging my feet with the last few episodes, not this week's. Things have picked right back up in my view, and my jaw is back on the ground.
I was good this episode until the preview.
I know. Okay. We are getting ahead of ourselves. We would first like to introduce you to our lovely guest host today, someone that we have been interacting with on social media, but have never had the chance to meet. Please welcome Miss Jelsy Freitas. Hi, Jelsy.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, not as excited as we are to have you.
Oh, yes, we are very excited. And for those of you watching on YouTube, I just realized I forgot to plug in my laptop. So that's what I'm doing, in case you're like, what is that chick doing back there? We're keeping it real here at the Hearties Hotline. But welcome, Jelsy. You see us all in our greatness here.
In our lovely technical savvy glory.
Yes, you both are great.
Oh, and before we get too deep, will you shout out your YouTube and stuff so that we
please
can share it out to everybody?
Yes. So I have a YouTube channel where I fangirl a lot about When Calls the Heart. It's called iamJelsy. You can find me over there on YouTube and on Instagram at iamJelsy videos, and on Twitter, where the party is at every Sunday when Calls the Heart is airing. iam_Jelsy.
Woo-hoo. Yay! Yes. And she has some good stuff, people. If you haven't checked her out, you need to go and check out that YouTube channel. Okay. So, Jelsy, tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, how long you've been watching, if you want to share what team you're on. Give us the scoop. First of all, I am very curious about your name. I have never heard your name. How did it come about?
Well, my mom wanted a name with a J, and then my name is a combination of other names. So I have both of my aunt's names in my name. So one of my aunt's names is Elsie. So there you have it, Jelsy.
Yeah.
And my other aunt's name is Diane. So Jelsy Ann. And yeah, so like my full name is Jelsy Ann Lee, but people call me Jelsy.
Wow.
A combo of different names.
Yeah. It's such a cute name too.
It is. It's
really
adorable.
Thank you. Most people know me by Jelsy, but Jelsy Ann Lee is like my full name.
Yeah.
That's quite a name.
Yeah. People always ask me, like, how did you write your name when you were in first grade or kindergarten? I'm like, well, I did practice.
It took a lot of lead. So where are you from?
Yes. So I'm from Puerto Rico.
Are you still living there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm living here.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, I never knew. I was like, where is she from? So now I know.
Yes.
Not too far from either of us. Southern chicks over here, Florida and Texas.
Yes.
So.
We got a Southern podcast going on now. And how long have you been a Hearty?
Well, I discovered the show in 2015, just when the second season was airing on Hallmark Channel. But I actually discovered it on Netflix. Mm-hmm. So I just remember I saw the poster on Netflix and I saw that Lori Loughlin was in it.
Mhm.
And all my life, I've been a huge like Full House fan.
Yep.
So I saw that Lori was in it and I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna like this. And I saw it was a period piece as well because I love period pieces. So I started watching, and after that first episode, I was like, yes, this is my kind of show. So that's basically where it started. And then I that same year, I discovered the Facebook group. So I joined immediately because I was like, this is my people. And basically, that's where it started.
Yeah.
And are you cool sharing what team you're on, or do you want to remain anonymous?
Okay. So honestly, I find such wonderful things with both that, sometimes I lean towards one. And then, for example, in this episode, I saw some things from Lucas, for example, and I was like, yeah, I could see this happening. So I'm like, what is going to happen? So I'm trusting what the writers do, what the writers decide what will happen, and just enjoy the ride. I'm just so excited to finally know.
Yeah. I think a lot of us are there. We're like, all right, let's get on with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, aren't we all?
Right. I'm so excited. It's been a roller coaster as a lot of the cast members and writers and creators mentioned that the season was going to be, and it has been that way. And wow, what's going to happen? We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. And you've been to a family reunion, haven't you?
Yes, I've had the opportunity to go there. And I remember my first time in 2016, and it was epic. There's no other word for it. It was epic. And, not only seeing the cast right in front of you, and hearing their stories, and also the production team talk as well over there in the reunion, but also seeing Hearties' friends and meeting them face to face. That part was so exciting as well. And if another Hearties family reunion is made and it's able to happen, I recommend to everybody to attend if you have the means to go. It's so special.
Yeah.
Marvelous.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, but I really hope you guys get to go one day, because it is just unforgettable and you have so much fun. The weekend goes by so fast.
Oh, I bet.
It's incredible. Time flies literally over there.
Oh, man.
Oh, so fun. So fun.
All right. Let's dive into season 8, episode 7, Before My Very Eyes, because a lot of things happened before our very eyes. All right. Let's start with our power couple of the episode. Say it with me. Floyo.
Love them.
Oh my gosh. I don't know about you guys, but I was sobbing.
Oh, I know you were. I texted Jess because our friend Jess, who was in a guest host episode 3, I think.
Somewhere around there.
We were texting back and forth and she said, how's the episode? And I said, I haven't watched yet. I'm going to start right now. And then I said, I'm literally crying. And then she said, what kind of tears? And I said, Floyo tears. P.S. When you watch it with Cammie, please be prepared because she's going to be sobbing.
She told me. She said, Casey said you need tissues. So they were flowing.
I got
that. That's a good one.
Thank you.
I would high five you right now.
Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you.
But yes, I cried. And if I cried, I was like, oh, shoot. If I'm crying, that means Cammie's going to be a hot mess later tonight.
I plead the fifth. All right, Jelsy, give it to us. Are you a crier, or are you a sigher, or are you just, oh, that was nice? Yeah, what are you?
I can do both, basically, but I was like, it was my heart. I love Loretta Walsh so much. I think she's fantastic, and when she does a scene like this, like I feel it. Like you feel it, and it's especially that moment when she's singing.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
I was like, oh my goodness. I was done.
Yeah, I was totally done. I did not expect her to sing because we've never seen her sing. And like we have seen Florence become emotional. We've seen her angry. We've seen her heartbroken. I mean, her story is just a perfect picture of redemption and all of the things. And when she started singing, I was like, oh my word. First of all, I need a tissue. And I'm like hiding under my shirt like this. Because I couldn't get up. I didn't want to leave my seat or pause it because I was so invested in that moment. And when she was singing, and I was like, what are you doing to me, Loretta Walsh? What are you doing to me?
Right here in my notes, I can't lift up the whole thing because it'll just all fall apart. But I have these two huge hearts written by this scene, and I couldn't get all of the lyrics, the song lyrics, because I was just crying so hard. But I got, with a heart that is true, I'll be waiting for you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And
that's one of my favorite performances that she's ever done. And I know it's sad, and but it's also so beautiful as well.
It is. It's so bittersweet. The entire interaction that she has. I mean, and she's so committed to him, like in the fact that she was there, stayed by his side, and then ran
praying for him.
And praying for him. And like her just even going back to the mercantile and just taking over the register and then doing the phone, because her job isn't the register. Her job is the phone, but she knows Ned so well, and she knows that mercantile so well at this point that she's like, I got this. I mean, I don't know.
She runs herself ragged.
I mean, but that's how much she loves Ned. Is she will do anything.
She wants to do everything that she can to. She's like, okay, so I have to do this. He would want to have everything, sorted, and have all the bases covered. So yeah. And
I feel like Florence is also the type of person to just, I don't know. Where was I going with that? She's just the type of person to not be, to be guarded, like, so for her to go to the mercantile was her like, okay, Ned would want me to be strong, and Ned would want me to be here. I can't.
It's her way to stay busy.
Yes.
Right.
But in that moment when Elizabeth comes and she's like, let me find you some help. It was almost a reminder to Florence to say, hey, it's okay to not be so strong and like so wound up in this moment. It's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to let your feelings go, because after that moment, we see her in the infirmary, and she is much calmer in a sense. Like she's not so frazzled. And we see her and she's like clinging onto her faith, which, we see when she's praying and holding onto the rosary. And, even with her moments with Ned are very tender. They're not, she's worried, but she's not like high anxiety, anxious like she was when we first saw her in the mercantile, like flying about.
Or even in past seasons. She has become a very calm and stable-minded, kind member of the community, and that is not who she was.
Right.
She has really evolved this season, and I think that she has really Loretta has stretched that character and past limits that we didn't even think could be passed. And she did it. Okay, let's go to that proposal scene. Oh my gosh. I mean, we even knew it was coming from the preview, and I still was crying my eyes out. I want to give a shout out to Molly really quick, because one thing I really noticed is Molly has become an asset. She's not silly. She's not in the way. She's not trying to run things. She has truly become a helpful partner in the infirmary. She's taking Florence away when she needs to do so. She's bringing her food. She's speaking very calmly and knowingly about everything. She has really proven her worth, I think, especially in this episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's evolved into the nurse's aide.
Right.
That, like I was thinking that she would, I don't know, float in and out. And then she's literally become the nurse's aide. It's incredible, because when we talked to Johanna, we were talking a little bit about Molly, and she had mentioned that Molly has never really, she had trouble finding her place, I think, Right. She lost her husband, she was a widow, and then we'd see her, in and out of town with Florence, and they were more of the banter, like the Lucy and Ethel of Hope Valley, which is fine. And that's great for, because there are so many other characters and so many other storylines, but it's been really amazing to see how they've taken Molly and how they've also stretched her character too.
So much as well.
We've got Florence, Ned, you have to get better. Oh, I'll be fine. I promise. And when I'm back on my feet, I was wondering, I can't even say it. Will you marry me?
I know. I was a bit frustrated though when I saw that on the preview, the week before.
Yeah.
No, I really wanted to hear that and see that in the episode and not see it on the preview. But it was still such an amazing moment that I was like, yes, yay, this is actually happening. And Florence and Ned was something that I didn't know that I needed to see, and it's the best thing ever. And it's so sweet and so pure. So great.
Well, and one thing that I love is it went past what we saw in the preview. She's trying to calm him down, and you just think about getting well, Florence.
Like he's serious.
Yeah, he is serious. Florence, please marry me. And then, are you certain? Oh, I've never been more so. Oh my gosh. When Ned said that, I said, okay, I'm melted. I'm a puddle. Come clean me up. And the only thing that I could think of was, don't send him under the knife with a no. Don't send him under the knife with a no. Give him something to live for, Florence.
That did cross my mind too. I was like, I knew she was going to say yes. I knew she was going to answer. But there was that moment there when he had to kind of ask her again. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Florence, this is not the time. Just say yes.
Yeah, it seems like in her mind, she was like, okay, so he's sick. He's probably not feeling well. So maybe he just came out with that, Yeah. So that's why she said, no, just focus on, getting better. But then he was like, no, amidst all that I'm feeling, this is true. This is serious.
And I've never been more certain.
The man knows what he wants.
Amen. Okay, so let's go to the other beautiful scene, the end. I just have to give a shout out to the props, to the makeup department, because you can immediately see that he's better. His coloring in the first millisecond of the scene is immediately fine. And then for Hrothgar, his acting is so great. You can tell that he's resting more peacefully, and just it's immediate, it's instant. And then he just wakes up like a little bird, turning his head around, kind of getting his bearings. And then you are a beautiful sight.
Amazing.
Oh, for sure.
And that part, when he is like, so I had a high fever, and I'm not sure, like, if I asked you this, and I was like, Ned, don't take it back. Like, what are you saying? But
don't renege.
Yeah. And then he was like, when she was like, yeah, I said yes. And he was like, okay, good.
For a split second, I thought he was going to take it back. Right. And it was going to carry over into the next episode. And I just said, no, don't do it, Ned. Don't do it, Ned. What about you, Casey?
Oh, I was the same way. I was like, please tell me this is where this is not going to go where I think it's about to go, because I am very positive, Polly, about Team Floyo right now. They do not need any drama. I don't need any more drama from any other love stories in this series at this point. Please tell me you're trying to remember exactly. I mean, and I do love how he worded it, just in case she actually said no. He was kind of like, I'm really treading on very thin ice right now, and I'm wording this very carefully because I was so sick. What I said when I was sick, and who knows what they said when I was out of it.
It can go on forever.
Yeah. So I do love that. And you're right. Hrothgar does such a great job playing ill too well, because when he woke up, it really did remind me of someone who, they go through a very traumatic medical experience or some surgery or whatever, and they're just like out of it for so long. And then they wake up, and it's like, you wake up one day and you're just like, oh, I am alive. I'm functioning.
Yes.
The sun is shining. Like, I remember last spring I had my tonsils out, and I was so sick afterwards. Like, I had a fever for I felt like I had the flu. Like, that's how sick I felt for several days. I remember one day I finally woke up that morning, and I remember going, my head feels clear. I can't talk. My throat hurts, but I'm functioning. It's that moment that just clicks for you after you've gone through something like that. So
right. And Florence is also treading on very thin ice here, and she's she's very timid, and she's very held back. You did. Are you regretting it? And I mean, Laura, this is what it means to be an actor, when you do so much with 2 words. I mean, she had 2-word lines, and look how she kept us hanging. Look how she kept us hanging on the edges of our seats with, you did. And then, and did you say yes? I did. And just her relief when he said good. Okay.
Yeah, seeing them interact at the end when he says good, see them like holding each other.
I totally thought they were going to kiss. I'm okay that they didn't, because they did it so well, but I totally thought they were going to kiss. But maybe it's a little too early for that. in the recovery process, not in the relationship. This has been going on. You know? If you've got a proposal of marriage, then it's okay to kiss the woman. Oh my goodness, those were some of the sweetest moments. And I think that we can agree that Florence is if not the MVP of the episode. Is that something that we can agree on?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Girl held it together so well.
Honestly, Florence is like, so far right now, she's like MVP for me for this season.
Oh,
I mean, Florence / Loretta Walsh. I mean, This is just, I mean, I could go for just the season 8, but I'm also taking into consideration past seasons, the development of Florence and Loretta stretch that character. Like, wow. Wow.
Yeah, such growth. It's wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to the Canfields. First off, I'm just going to say this right off the bat. I am not upset at Minnie anymore. Because last week, I was. Last week, I was mad. I was mad at Minnie for getting on to Joseph for praying when he's all by himself. You know, he's not walking around sounding like a crazy man. And then he prays for her, and she's got that whole tough, sarcastic love going on. I'm just like, you be quiet. Leave the poor man alone. He's amazing. and so but then she is the one who makes him understand what he already knows. He already knows it. He's just fighting it. Mm-hmm. But she's asking him all the right questions. Why did I find you here? Mm-hmm. And then this is not just your calling. It's our family's calling. And then when he goes on about all of the no pulpit, no bell, when he made such an emphasis on the bell and went, what happened to the bell Jack ordered? But no pulpit, no bell. I want to make something of myself, Minnie. And then you guys remember what that last question was?
For who or something like that.
Yeah.
You're close.
Oh my gosh, I didn't write this down. It was like, I'm blanking.
In whose eyes?
Oh.
In whose eyes, Joseph? Oh.
Yeah, it was like
a girl. Yeah.
That totally was a mic drop moment. And one thing I appreciate about the development of Joseph Canfield's character is that he is also a flawed character with struggles that he's facing too.
Yeah. Yes, it made him human. Please go on. Yes, because I've been wondering how perfect this man was, and it didn't diminish his character, but it showed us that he has flaws. Mm-hmm. So yeah, go on.
Yeah, and just the fact that so he is a preacher. He's a man of God. And so they could have easily just made him the wise sage. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you see people or characters in their internal struggles, it makes them more relatable. It makes you feel more empathy for them, or at least you learn how to have empathy for them because you're seeing something from a different lens, also as an outsider too. And I really appreciated that Joseph was very candid in this moment. And obviously his wife knows what his what his flaws are, what he's struggling with. And so I appreciated that too. I appreciated that when something needed to be called out, Joseph called it out for Minnie the week before when she was worried about Angela and trying to overly protect her from the world and from the outside world and not trusting Elizabeth as much with her education. And Joseph called her out on that. And then this time around, Minnie calls him out on what he really is running from. And it kind of points Joseph back towards God and their faith when she says, in whose eyes? Because when you're in that situation and you know what your calling is, but you're running away from it because you want to make something more of yourself, self being a key word, you're usually not thinking about whose glory you want it to be towards. You're not thinking like, let me do this for the glory of God. And you're kind of like, I want it for me. And Minnie was quick to just point him back in a very gentle manner too.
Very gentle, and so unlike the way she's been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was very proud of Minnie.
Yeah, it was so great. I wrote down relatable because, like you mentioned, that it makes him more human in regards to that. And I wrote down relatable because it's something that we all can relate to, maybe because he says that he's running from it and he has other plans. He's like, no, like, I know what my calling is, but I just have my own plans. So I'm just going to go with that. But, you're not following exactly what you're destined to do. Because, if God has a plan for you, then you're just, no, I'm not going to do that. But you're probably losing this wonderful blessing of what will happen if you actually go towards that.
Yeah.
And I love that Minnie reminds him of that. And I laughed out loud when he is in the church and he's praying, and then she arrives and she calls his name and he's like, yes, Lord. Like,
I believe that God has a sense of humor.
Yes. I just love that scene so much. And it serves as a reminder, to the audience as well.
Yeah. And the funny thing too about Joseph and his calling, even though he's running away from it, he still can't help but run toward the same way, because he's always giving everybody this advice. Like,
let's go there. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's telling Minnie, like, hey, you trust God, don't trust yourself. He's telling Jelsy, you need it's a strand of 3 cords cannot be broken but in the swing parallel. He tells
legs and a crossbeam.
Yes, and he tells Clara, get your husband back. Forgive him. He tells Rosemary,
yeah,
for you. And apparently there was more in that moment. There was a scene cut out between Joseph and Rosemary.
Yeah.
But like, even though
he is.
Yes, exactly.
He can't help himself.
Yeah.
What did he say to Clara? My wife will tell you I'm never shy about giving advice. The question is whether or not I should.
Right.
And the other thing that I love about Joseph, we've said this in past episodes, just how calmly and with a smile and easily he gets people to talk and he gets people to open up and he points them in the right direction. Because when Clara comes out, she's just looking at the swing and you built this with Jelsy, huh? And I don't want to take up too much of your time. Clara, you didn't come all this way to look at a swing. It's like laying it straight out, man. Good job.
Yeah. And I feel like, wow, he seems like so, like, I want to talk to Joseph too sometime. Like, he seems like such an approachable guy, and the advice that he's going to give you will actually, help.
Yes, it's not bad advice. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I just love him, and like what that I actually mentioned this in a video I did. Him and the whole family just bring this whole new level of comfort. I don't know. I just love these characters, and I'm so glad that Hallmark Channel and When Calls a Heart made this edition, because it was so needed, and also it's a great edition in general. I just love them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it also just them bringing Joseph and the family on now is very much needed because of the whole hope aspect. Because right now I feel like everyone's going through a midlife crisis or some health crisis. And I'm like, we need a preacher in town to be praying for everybody.
We need somebody with a stable mind and a very calm heart, because I mean, even though he got a tiny bit riled up about wanting to make something of himself, he was still very calm. You know, we've never seen him get worked up about anything. He had a very cool head when his daughter got hurt. You know, everything's been, even if the situation wasn't smooth, he was smooth. And we need a cool head amidst all of this drama.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that I remembered is that, you know, that we mentioned that Joseph was running from that calling and he didn't want to be Hope Valley's preacher. He was thinking of that. But many people throughout the episodes, especially I think in previous episodes, many people have mentioned, so are you a preacher? And like, I remember that Jelsy asked him that, and now Lucas asked him that. I mean, like, he can't run from it. Like, it's his calling. It's
you can run, but you can't hide, man. Did you guys see that tweet that Viv sent out that how Peter DeLuise wanted him to look drenched for coming into, completely drenched for coming into the saloon. And so he hosed himself off, or he got hosed down. Yeah. And then he walks into the saloon and he's literally pouring out water. And Chris was able to keep it together, but Aaron just lost it. Did you guys see that?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I saw that tweet. Yeah.
Oh, I saw it this morning.
Like, she wasn't actually seeing him when he came in. So when she looked up from her book and she saw him, she was like, she lost it. She couldn't.
A little bit of behind the scenes set here.
Yeah, I love those kind of tweets.
Yeah, it's so fun. So fun.
Okay. Let's go to Henry and Christopher. I'm going to say right now, all of the really nice things I had to say about Christopher last week, I'm not feeling it this week. Jelsy, your thoughts on the new man/boy? He's definitely acting like a boy. So the new man/boy in town.
Well, I kind of, you know, in some moments during this episode, there's this sense of entitlement. And the thing with him wanting a bigger room, or, you know, with these interactions with Lucas, you know.
Yeah, and, spoiled.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, and then like Lucas knows something is up with him, and that scene specifically when Lucas confronts him, like, if I know that you're pickpocketing, and if you have the watch, like, you're out of here. And the whole thing with Gowan as well. This storyline, I'm so intrigued by it because there's so much behind it. But I don't know. It's just and the thing is, now that I remember this as well, that Rachel, she saw him at the beginning take the watch, and she hasn't said anything. And I'm like, okay, so are you acting like you didn't see it because you're out in the world and this guy is interested in you? So you're like, okay, so I'm just gonna like blind eye to that and just, okay. Or I don't know if she's planning to tell anybody later on. I don't know. There's just so many things about Christopher that I just don't understand. And the whole relationship with Henry is also very complicated because I know that I've seen that Gowan is actually I've seen him acting in this fatherly role, I guess. And he's like looking out for Christopher. And he's like, if you need money or anything, just let me know. So this is a side of Gowan that we haven't seen as much before. So that part has been interesting. But Christopher, I just don't know.
Yeah. So going back, I really don't think Rachel saw him take the watch. After watching it and looking out my window and down the street.
Well, he was pretty far though, yeah.
Pretty far.
I think she saw him.
I don't like look out your window and go look down the street and see somebody, like, especially because pickpocketers, you don't see them pickpocket.
Mm-hmm.
You see a bump. And from her angle, especially because it wasn't across the street, it was down the street. So she would have had to like actually like get out of the dress shop, look down the street to see if anything happened. But she was looking at an angle. And if you remember, everything's under a cover, like a walkway cover thing. So I really don't think I think she saw them bump into each other, but it was so quick because even if Lee didn't notice, there's no way she would have seen him reach into his pocket and take the watch, especially because they were front to front with each other. So I don't think she saw him pickpocket the watch, because also remember, Rachel is naive.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
I don't know. If I were 16, 18 years old and I saw a cute boy, I would not be seeing that watch. I'd be seeing that cute boy. Hey.
Because his attitude toward her has not changed.
She's blinded by his hotness.
And his manners and his gifts. The slightly soiled, but the sentiments pure all the same. I'm like, oh, you're smooth. When, I was determined to think the best of him, that maybe he was going to give back the watch. Maybe he felt bad about it. But I was determined to think the best of him until I heard Rosemary say, I'm an actress. I know a performance when I see one. And I went, oh my gosh.
Oh no, for me I was like, if he came from the loins of Henry Gowan, I am here for a new antagonist. I am here for it. Pickpocket everything. You stole a car. I'm here for this too. I'm not saying it's right. I just like that kind of drama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying I am here for this.
Yeah, and Lee was like, so you're thinking like the apple doesn't fall far away from the tree? And she was like, yeah. And we were like, yeah, Henry Gowan's son.
And things are starting to close in on him. Mm-hmm. Lucas, I really loved, because Lucas has started to kind of doubt himself in his reading of people. And so I was really glad to see that triumph for Lucas, that he has not lost his touch. He knows that something's fishy about this kid. So Lucas is closing in on him. And Henry, even though he doesn't know exactly what's going on, he's pointing a lot of advice at him. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Mm-hmm. And he's calling him out, maybe this is the way you act with your mother and Jerry, but when you're with me, you be on time. I was like, oh, snap. And then the stolen car is found. I went, oh dear, things are closing in. So you've painted yourself into a corner, mister. What you gonna do?
Yeah. Can I just have one grouse about Gowan?
Okay.
One real quick one. He steamrolled over Michael Hickam. Oh, he rolled over him. How dare anybody, any of you people who have Michael working for you, and you just steamroll him? Like, Hickam has done so many good things for this dang town, okay? He worked with Lee. He built a little rocking horse. He made all these grand plans for the orphans and their doll houses and everything.
He built the stage for Rosemary.
He found that dove and put it on a diet. He for the and you're just gonna take this poor man and steamroll over him. I was like, no, you are not putting this your son, because he is blood related to you, and have him be an equal to Michael Hickam when he has not had time to make his hand, like pretty little hands, all dirty. Like,
Mike has paid his dues.
Oh yeah,
to everybody in town. Yeah.
If being a mayor it's a couple of years, Michael Hickam. Done.
Hickam for mayor. Hickam for mayor.
I'm just saying, he's worked with Lee, he's worked with Rosemary, he's worked with Gowan, he's proven.
He worked in the mercantile.
He's a hard worker.
Oh,
Love him.
He just now needs to go on a raid with Nathan and Bill. He'll have everything covered. But
he needs to come in and teach an extracurricular lesson to the kids in the school.
Shop class done.
Shop class or carpentry, or taking them on a field trip to a derrick that we know is safe.
Oh, yes.
One that won't blow up.
Right.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Bouchard. Whoa.
So many things happened.
What was that?
So many things. So many things happened.
So many things. And he starts off being incredible. Again, tea with lemon and honey, just the way you like it. And Gustav is preparing sandwiches. And oh, by the way, I talked to my mom, I talked to my mother, and she convinced father to come home. The man is not making a wrong move. He is not, and then he reaches for her hand with a very sincere compliment. That's a natural thing for a man in his position to do, I think. Mm-hmm. The two of them have been spending a lot of time together. She has given him every indication that she wants to move forward. They've held hands in private, so he thought that he could do it in public. So I didn't see anything wrong with it, but when she wasn't comfortable with it, the man immediately backed off. He's earning a lot of points. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If this all happened season 7, I would be very, very split right now. Yes.
Although maybe I would be Team Lucas for Elizabeth and Team Nathan for myself.
You're a married woman.
If I were single, if I were living in Hope Valley. But yeah. Lucas.
While you're thinking, the other thing I want to point out is that he does not let Elizabeth get away with anything. He is very respectful of the distance that she wants to keep. He made a promise, not in those words, but in his manner. He made her a promise that he was not going to rush her. And so he is letting her take the lead. But he said, I would love to take your hand right now, but you've made it very clear that you are not comfortable with that sort of public display of affection. I went, whoa, lay it out there. He's calling her on it. He is calling her on it. He doesn't let her forget. He doesn't let her forget that he's there. He doesn't let her forget that he cares. And he does not let her forget that he has intentions. They're honorable, but he has intentions.
Yeah. And there's this scene outside the saloon where he quotes something from a novel that.
Yes, I have it right here. Go ahead.
And it says like something about a man who falls in love with a woman who ultimately rejects him. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Was that foreshadowing, or was he trying to just dig a tiny bit?
Exactly. And then he says like he wants to, hold her hand. And she's like, okay, so I've been clear of how, to be patient, for you to be patient, because wait till I'm ready. And he's like, okay, I don't want to rush you. It's fine. And I think that he's let her know that he's interested in PDA, in the sense of holding her hand. But he also is clear of where she stands regarding that. Mm-hmm. So he's in this attitude of waiting. And I don't think he's done it in a, rude or annoyed way. I think he's been like very respectful and calm about it, even though you can see it in his face that he really wants to. And he's like, oh man, but he understands it. And then ultimately at the end, the end of the episode, basically, we see it happen, which I was like, whoa, okay. So this is kind of like a new step, because, she also understands that if there's PDA and people are watching, then people are going to see, oh, okay, so these two are, basically together. So I think that's one of the reasons why that she's been a bit hesitant in that, because, okay, so if people watch, it makes it like more official, I guess. So
Facebook official.
Now, yeah. And now that at the end where we see, her take his hand, like, okay, so, this is like, where is this going to go? So I'm very curious.
Yeah. I say this all the time. I just feel progressively worse for Lucas, because I feel like if I were Lucas, I would feel like Elizabeth was sending me mixed signals. I don't do the whole mixed.
I agree.
Thing, because they have an intimate moment at her house with all the candles under the stars. She flirts with him all the time, which, I mean, it's normal. If you are attracted to someone, you're going to flirt with them, but she's flirting with him. And then they have this almost kiss in the rain. If you're about to have an almost kiss and you've already held hands in private, what's to say that she's not going to want to hold your hand in public? And then all of a sudden she's like, oh, no, can't do that. I want to take things slow. And it's like, wait. You want to take things slow, but you almost kissed me in the rain the other day. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. In my mind, it's like she's trying to figure things out, and she's like, I think that her mind is like, okay, this has never happened. Well, kind of, I go back to like Charles and Jack, but this is kind of more in a serious way with both guys. So I think that in her mind, she's just trying to figure it out as she goes. So I think that's why. So I don't know.
There's no manual.
No, there's no manual, but I also find it interesting that every time she takes a move, it's always right after she has like somewhat of a deeper conversation with Nathan that has.
Oh, we're going there. Hold on.
Well, I know. Well, I mean, like,
I know. I'm teasing you.
But like, they always have. It's like Nathan and Elizabeth have these moments, and then it's all of a sudden Elizabeth's like, "Let me take this next step with Lucas because I can't go there. Keep going. Keep turning.
I think that might be part of the point. She has these moments with Nathan, and then she tells herself, no, I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. So that's pushing me to make this next step with Lucas for sure, or just what she feels she needs to do. It's one of the two right now. And we don't know We don't know for sure who her ending choice is, but I strongly believe that those moments with Nathan push her to do those steps with Lucas, either out of fear or out of a necessity of feeling.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. Can we just real quick talk about the gift? The gift that Lucas gives Elizabeth to give to Nathan and Allie.
What the heck was it?
It was probably a book of card tricks.
Could be.
Yeah. I really think it probably was. Or I really think it was some kind of book because it was wrapped in a square box. And I really feel like that's just a Lucas move.
And he likes books. And he knows that Allie likes books. So
yeah, it makes total sense. We've lost Cammie.
No, I'm fine.
Oh, we've lost you several times.
I know, and you dead meat.
I will say there's been a lot of discussions about Lucas and the gift. Like, why is he going to give a gift to Elizabeth to give to Nathan and Allie? And here's what I've got to say. You all know I am Team Nathan. I've got to say
no.
I mean, after this, some of y'all might be like, I don't know, this girl's swinging to the other side. But I promise you, I'm not. I really do think that Nathan and Elizabeth are in game. I really do. Nathan's just got more. I feel like there's just more there with him. But anyways, I have just got to say, I don't think it was anything malicious. I don't think it was any.
Oh gosh, no.
Because I know there's been discussions out there like, oh, he's just trying to make himself look good and stuff. I don't think it's that either. I think it's just an awkward situation that he just doesn't know how to handle, as anybody wouldn't know how to handle if you were in a love triangle and you won the girl, quote unquote, at least as far as you can tell. And I think that Lucas is genuinely a nice person, as we've seen multiple times through this, like definitely this season and definitely the last episode. I think he knows that if he were to give it to Allie himself, she would probably raise a stink about it because it's a small town. Everybody talks. Everybody knows that Allie really looks up to Elizabeth and is probably very hurt by the fact that she's moving with a relationship on with Lucas, as that was also explored.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he knows, like, if I give this to her, I don't want to make this awkward for Nathan. I don't want to have Allie, like, make this awkward for Allie either. I feel like if he didn't get any, I feel like he would have lost either way, because there's the argument of, oh, he's trying to make himself look good. Oh, but then it's like, if he gave it to Allie and Nathan, people would be like, oh, you're just trying to, steal their thunder. Or if he didn't give her anything, if he did not give her anything at all, it would have been like, oh, he should have gotten her something because it was this grandiose gesture. I just feel like people need to like calm down about Lucas and just like look at it for what it is, because I think he was just trying to be nice, and that it's an awkward situation.
Well, and I think he was also trying to be respectful because he was not invited, and he didn't make a stink about that.
He knew that Elizabeth was going. So he was like, wait, so I'll just send a gift then if she's going and I'm not,
Yeah.
I mean, people do that all the time in the real world. I'm not going, so here, can you take that for me? Yeah.
So,
okay.
I don't know. I listen, I know this season has made my feelings for Lucas and my sorrow for him amplify, as my frustration with Elizabeth has also amplified. So it's kind of like, the more I feel sorry for Lucas, the more I get mad at Elizabeth. And that's kind of how I've been rolling this season.
Okay. I am not going to lie. I am also Team Nathan, but I am not going to lie that the two of them looked absolutely adorable walking down the street hand in hand. It was a very, very sweet moment. Yeah, I think that it was a little tentative, but you could tell that it was a big leap for Elizabeth. And I thought that they looked very sweet, especially with the smile on his face. If he, like Casey said, if he does not end up being the choice, I feel so bad for him right now. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it was sweet, but it was also slightly crushing to me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Jelsy?
Well, yeah, I thought it was sweet and I was like, oh my gosh. But I really like to see Elizabeth, like you said, Cammie, like taking this leap. And I know that people have, different opinions about it, but it's been great to see Elizabeth, smiling and like being this type of, just being hopeful, for what's to come, like whatever the scenario is at the end, but she is actually opening up. She's been opening up and she's been hopeful. And I love how that looks, on her. But yeah, I saw that scene with Lucas and her like holding hands. And I was like, I have to say it was super sweet. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so before we move on to Nathan and Allie and Elizabeth, I just have 2 shout outs that I want to say really fast. Number 1, Carson. Good on him and Faith. He did that surgery without a hitch, and 2 surgeries without a hitch. Oh. And I was so proud of Elizabeth for saying that they appreciate him, because that is something he really needs to know right now. Mm-hmm. And Carson and Faith have put aside their differences for the good of their patient. Mm-hmm. And one more thing, just storyline wise about the surgery, what I really loved is that the surgery got its proper screen time.
Yes.
It's something that got its proper screen time and it got its proper length. This was not an overnight thing, which I know has been something we've been frustrated about in the past, and it was not. And I was so, so happy about that. Okay. And second observation, what do you guys think about this? Joseph Canfield reminds me of Jack. He always had the answer to everyone's problems except his own. He was highly spiritual and he wasn't afraid to put God in the conversation. He helped so many people with his kindness and his helpfulness. The way that he was with Roy in season 3 was reminiscent to me of the way that Joseph has been with Clara and Jesse. Mm. So Joseph's personality reminds me a lot of Jack, and that's probably why I have a soft spot for him.
I hadn't thought about that way.
It didn't occur to me until last night, and I just went, "Oh my word!" So.
Okay.
I'll take it. All right. So, Nathan, Allie, and Elizabeth. First off, we had a real conversation. I'm getting so weary of these constant, awkward, stilted, can't get the words out of my mouth. And it's just what, okay, we're actually talking. We're communicating. We're smiling. We're saying hello. This is good. This is good.
Yeah. I've got to give it to Nathan. I mean, for as awkward as the situation has been and how crushed he's been, he is taking it like a champ in a sense. Like, we do see him go through the stages of grief, if you will. He's now accepting the fact that she is moving on with her life with Lucas. And even though he knows that, like I said last week, it's not over till there's a ring by spring. So there is still hope for him, but he's not doing anything to push himself on her. But he is being a little more relaxed, a little more open with her, like that conversation they had in front of the infirmary. There's a lot of things that I'm like, okay, baby steps, Nathan, baby steps. And coaching Allie and towards her attitude towards Elizabeth, because
oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Okay,
that was amazing.
Yeah, and you know, he's in a weird position, being, you know, Allie's parental figure, and then figuring that whole triangle thing out without disrupting Allie's relationship with Elizabeth, because Allie's not dumb. She's in she'd be an equivalent to junior high, 8th grade. When I was in 8th grade, when we had TAs and teachers who were like together and you can tell, we knew from their looks they would give each other, or like we'd pass them in the hall, or there'd be like this like smart aleck comment that somebody would make and we'd all be like, you know. So it's not like Allie's a child and like, you know, they're making it obvious to her. She's just smart. She picks things up. I mean, we all know that she's a whiz at math. Surely she's a whiz at chemistry too.
Yeah. Okay. We've seen it in these past few episodes that she sees the looks, and specifically there's this moment at the Mercantile, I think it was last episode, where Nathan leaves and she's like looking at the door still, and Allie's there like, bye, Mrs. Thornton. Like, she notices that look, so she knows something's up. So she's like, okay, hey, like, what's happening? And then there's the conversation at the jail with Nathan, you know, and there's this.
That was Nathan's shining moment, because he could have so easily given in and talked about how sad he was. He didn't have to down talk her, but he could have easily said how heartbroken he was and how he's just going to move on with it. But all he said was, Allie, you need to invite Mrs. Thornton. Didn't you just ask her to go horseback riding with us? She's happy. Don't we want the people that we care about to be happy? And I was like, okay. Okay. And that scene outside the infirmary, guys.
That was a great scene.
What bachelor says adopting my niece is the single best thing I've ever done with my life? I do not perceive Dylan Parks as a man who runs away because he's heartbroken. You know, I mean, Elizabeth was trying to say, she was trying to be nice to Dylan. Yeah, I don't buy it. That I do not buy that. That's why Dylan ran away. But Nathan he comes up to her with a blanket. He won't take no for an answer. And he was even talking readily about how it was, you know, I used to think that it was me you didn't like, but now I realize you're just headstrong. You know, he's joking about it. He's determined to not make it awkward. It just,
yeah, I fangirl over Lucas and I fangirl over Nathan, because this scene is like one of my favorite interactions that they've had together. And it had a lot of levels to it. It was, it had some serious moments, and then it was, at the beginning, it was very light, and he was teasing her, and they were like smiling and like laughing. So it was my favorite interaction that they've had.
Yeah. Oh, I'm to the point of triangle fatigue. I'll be honest. I'm kind of like, at this point, I really like Lucas. I really like Nathan. I'm really upset with Elizabeth. And I'm like, oh, man. Oh.
Okay, I'll save you the agony. Let's just go to the end. Okay, I got to show you what my notes say. What the? What is that sneaky little devil trying to pull? Holy mackerel. She uninvites everybody except Elizabeth and then puts them in front of the judge. What is she doing?
And the way that it looked, she was like so proud of herself, like, yeah, like, let's go, let's move forward. And the look on their faces, it was just awkwardness. And she was like, wait, was I the only one? And Nathan is like, but we had a list of people that were actually supposed to come, and no one is here, only Elizabeth.
Oh my God.
So they both know that Allie is up to something. So they're like, oh boy.
She pulled a fast one.
A total fast one. The Parent Trap. Da 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 da.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Maybe Allie.
I don't know what to say. I don't even know what to say about this scene. And then it just ends like that. I went, wait a minute. What? I don't even know. I mean, when Nathan professed his love for Elizabeth, that was the end of the episode, but at least I went, I knew how to react. Here, I didn't even know how to react. I just went, wait, what?
Yeah. But the look on their faces, all of them. Priceless. Oh.
Even Bill,
yeah.
What?
I was like, okay.
I also love that she takes both of their hands.
Yeah.
They're all three standing there in front of a judge.
Yeah.
Which also resembles a wedding. I mean,
right.
Let's be honest.
Just the way Allie just says, all right, Judge, we're ready to start.
Yeah.
Everybody's here.
Like, everything is normal. Everything is great.
Oh, goodness.
But, you know, in this, thinking about it, that scene, you can see, like, Allie's need to have, like, this mother figure in her life. And in her mind, Elizabeth is it. You know? So, but what I take away from that is what I mentioned, that her... like, she loves Nathan, and that's her father. She looks up to him, and he's everything. But she also has this need for this mother figure. So that's what I see in this scene as well. So it's like...
Oh, that is a good point.
It is a good point. Oh, man.
So young. Yeah. Also,
so conniving at so young.
Didn't I predict a adoption ceremony or something like that earlier on? We had talked about the adoption and, like, is there going to be I think I mentioned something about a ceremony, and you had mentioned something about, like, no, usually, like, kids are signed off.
Yeah, the kids weren't a part of it. That's why I thought that the hug was when she officially got adopted, because he would just go in, sign the paper, come out, it's official, come hug me. You know?
I want to say I predicted something about a ceremony or mentioned something about that. So I would like to take this time to say that I'm so glad that at least one thing out of everything that I've mentioned has come slightly, remotely 1/8 true. Because so far...
Well, you said that you said the hug was going to happen when he was found innocent. That happened.
Okay, that's true. But, you know, the other thing, too, with March Madness that just happened, I would have a totally busted bracket right now. So,
all right. Well, you and your busted bracket can air out more feelings next week.
Don't get me started on my feelings for next week.
Okay, I won't. Hearties, have a wonderful day. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us. And Jelsy, thank you so much for coming on. We so appreciate it. Okay, before Casey gets going, bye, Hearties.
Bye, Hearties.